We're going to talk about survivorship this week, so let me walk you through this real quick. So you click on survivorship, and what we're looking at is population growth and survivorship. And so here's going to be your walkthrough as usually. Your task this week is the usual. You complete a quiz. Um, you watch the lecture. You complete the quiz. You do the lab activities. Um, and the lab activities this time are a dice simulation and a bubble simulation. Then you're going to submit a handout question set, and that's where you're going to submit all the curves you're going to do. As usually, the lab handouts can be found here. You can just click on here and you'll see the lab handouts and the question sets. Let me open one of the question sets real quick. So you'll see there's a couple of different ones. There's a no data and a with data set. This makes a difference. And make sure you watch the lecture. I talk in the lecture about the reasons why we have the survivorship curves and what their necessity is. And I point out to you that you have actually seen them before, even though you don't realize it. In the demonstrations, make sure you watch this. Students get really tripped up over how to do this. It's not as difficult as it looks, and just give it a moment, watch the demo, and I promise it'll help you. And then the assignments are going to be as usually. So there's the bubble experiment, there's an explanation how to do the bubbles. If you want to do the bubbles yourself, you can either do them or you can use simulated data for the bubble. So this is where the with data versus the without data comes in. So for the question set, if you don't want to do the bubbles yourself, if you go into the question set that has the survivorship with data, you have the ability to look at already existing data, and you can do the curves with that data instead of doing it yourself. However, for the dice roll, I do want you to create the data yourself. I want you to do the actual experiment and produce the data, even though you do have the ability to in your lab handout, you have simulated dice data too. One of the hardest things to do here is to label the semi-log paper. You have pre-labeled semi-log paper in the with data sheet, but I want you to make sure that you know how to label it yourself. So make sure that you look at the no data sheet first and try to label this yourself. Then go to the with data sheet where the label is and check yourself to make sure you've got it labeled correctly. Labeling, I talk in great big detail in the lecture and the demo about how to label semi-log paper. And you will be asked in the exam and in the quiz to figure out how to label it. So this labeling is going to be one of the tasks you're supposed to learn from this. Other than that, the labeling is going to be the hardest part. Other than that, this should be relatively short and sweet. The exercise is not very hard, and like I said, for the labeling, make sure you watch the demo, and that should not be terribly hard either. Have fun with this week.